I'm live. Okay, cool. So, just gonna wait for myself. I'm live. Okay, cool. All right. So now I'm gonna go ahead and reveal the screen. We're almost done with the game. Where we left off, I had most of it working, and I actually did test the pausing functionality, like when you leave the window. Or if I do this, you can see in the background, paused. And I had it paused for several hours and came back to it and it was still running just fine. So I seem to have solved that problem, because you can't, when the game is finished, it'll be impossible to leave it unattended and running for a very long time because of the time limit, little timer. So, like I said here in the latter half of the comment, might not be an issue on account of autopause. So now we need to implement the mouse controls, we need to implement the scoring and ring erasure, and see input.js for more to-dos. I think the mouse is probably the most pertinent thing to start with. So we need 3 different types of events. I know that there's a drag and drop thing, but I'm just not going to fuck around with that. We have 3 events. Those events are mouse down, when you click down on the mouse button, mouse up, when you let go, and mouse move, when you are moving the mouse. And if you know that the mouse button is down, that an event for the mouse down was fired, but the mouse event was not fired since then, and that you're moving, then that is the same as a drag. So there is enough information there between those 3 events to implement drag and drop in a reasonably simple manner. I just need to come up with cases for 3 different scenarios, or mostly really just 2. But when the stack that the mouse is over is stack number 6, the center, and you press the mouse down and then release it, that will cause the ring to shoot as if you pressed space. And if you do it on any other ring, then that will count as starting a drag and drop. So it's really just 2 cases. So mouse down, with mouse down LB equals 1. So it's setting the, well actually, I can do this, because the mouse events are registered. I need to check though. So if I do mouse.lb, that equals 0, and if I click in here and then drag out and then let go, the mouse event did not fire, so mouse LB will be 1. So that's one little to-do, is to let go of the mouse LB when the game is not focused. So I went ahead and clicked inside the game, and you see it's back to 0, but now just watch what happens when I do the right click. When I right click inside and then drag out and then let go, you see mouse.lb is 1, but I didn't left click, I right clicked. And that's because the mouse event has, the mouse down event applies for any mouse button. So I gotta say, this documentation is really good. I like how you can just search documentation and it'll pull anything up. That's pretty convenient. Searching up a man page and see is a little bit harder because you have to actually know what you're looking for, like the exact name. Anyways, so what we need to know is what's in the event object, the event properties, button. The button number that was pressed if clickable and the mouse button was fired, which 0 should be the one for left click. So if ev.button So let's just start small. So you can see there's a left click, and then when I middle click and when I right click, nothing happens. So that's all we needed. So we have most of the groundwork here already. We just don't have the drag and drop. So if we left clicked, let's just cancel the event if we didn't left click. So just go ahead and return. And then we'll go ahead and continue with that. So mouse.downStack equals stack ID. Now here's the thing. I don't think that I should be drawing a line between the two stacks. It just kind of seems pointless because I mean, I'm going to render the ring where the mouse is while it's being dragged. So it's not like you need to see that you're hovering over. So I'm just going to get rid of the down stack for now. If I need it again later, then. The reason is because when we so static held ring, and we'll just do -1. So it's not a valid ring type. Now when you mouse down, there we go, if stack ID is -1. If stack ID is 6, so we'll start with this. If stack ID is 6, then I need to see what I did in the keyboard. I grabbed the animation and I could move send ring, and I could and should move this to stack. So this will be called when you press space on the keyboard, but also it's just a generic. So instead of keyboard dot send ring, we need to find. Yeah, okay. So instead of that, it's going to be stack dot send ring. It's called with no arguments. So yeah, I can just call it. So mouse down, stack.send ring, and we'll go ahead and refresh and test. And error. Stack is not defined. Stack is not defined. Really? Okay, bullshit. Stack is not defined on input.js line 78. What the hell are you talking about? Okay, so I guess that's a new rule, huh? When you design a class in JavaScript, if you want your things to be able to be in any order, you're not allowed to initialize anything with anything that's not constant. I mean, you have to initialize them at runtime. So in the init function. Okay, so keyword.init, keyword.map, static extend ring. Well, since I already have it as an array, I might as well just do it this way. Let's give it a refresh. There we go. So and I clicked on it and it went. And you see it's not going when I'm clicking or spacing on it. I'm curious. Stack. We'll go ahead and just pass main. So init. This way I can call it from debug code. And we'll just leave it because. So stack.stacks, everything else is constant, equals okay. Make sure that none of these have anything inside of them. And they are being modified. That's not what I wanted. So let's generate a new array. Okay, so I guess map is superior to the spread operator. So go ahead and run it again. Send a couple of things, and stacks template is completely empty, while stacks is populated with stuff. That's what we wanted. So now, go ahead and game over. And stack.init. Run. I have main.init. Okay, the constants don't change. Neither does t delta. But loop running equals 0. Just get the default values. No. Pause equals 0. Game.time elapse equals 0. Game.score equals 0. Game.lastStamp equals null. And game.tickNow equals 0. Let it time out. And instead of that, we'll just do main.init. Yeah, and the game's restarted, except the timer is nan.nan. How do we resolve that? Did I forget to call the init function? I did. Okay, so game over, 5 seconds, frame 353 with FPS 60 and score 0, and main.init, and everything gets reset. And everything is a little glitchy there. Okay, so animation also needs an init function. Animation.init. Animation.list. That. And animation.animid zone, might as well. And that should probably do this for every class. Put the init functions on the top as the first function you see when you look at the class. Oh yeah, and wasn't there something I was supposed to do with the blurring? On blur mouse dot lb equals 0. Yeah, okay, so what that will do is when I click inside the window and then click out, or release the click outside, so on the click, the mouse will be set to 1, so it'll think that the mouse is clicked, that the mouse button is down. But if I drag the mouse outside and let go, that constitutes a blur event, I think. To find out. I wasn't finished writing the code though. Okay, so yeah, right now the mouse LB is 1. I just don't know how I would go about proving that. Because like even if the game ends, the mouse is still The events are still firing. The fact that I can click inside and then drag out and then click outside does mean, though, is there like a mouse leave or something? The mouse leave event is fired when the cursor of a pointing device, usually the mouse, is moved outside of it. Okay. So I added an init function to the animation. Did I remember to call it, though? Yeah. Okay, so what was I testing again? There was something glitching out with the way... Wow, that went on for quite a while. So let's go ahead and let this time out so that it forces its way on. And then main.init. And yeah. So we'll go ahead and add a keyboard. We'll seize this opportunity to add R, which calls main.init. So now, press R to restart. FPS infinity. That's not right. Looks like I didn't finish initializing. These are all constants. Okay. That's not working again. Doesn't work in the first place though. Yeah. For some reason. Okay, that should be the last little hiccup. Game over. Press R to restart. Yeah. Except for that. How is FPS calculated again? I guess I'm just gonna have to lock it out. Okay, so I mean, actually, I could just put that in the game. Let's test that works before we put the flavor text. Okay, so I'm pressing R, nothing is happening. Loop running is not defined. Pressing R, nothing's happening, and importantly, there's no error message down there. Game over, and now there we go. Let's go ahead and put the flavor text, which is in draw game over. So in main.js, I'm just going to just going to draw it in a draw fra game over, just so that I immediately, yeah, and now it's not interactive, so I can click in here and press F5. So it's game over. Oh, but we need to see the stacks too. So draw stacks, because we need to see what it'll look like. Stacks.stacks is undefined. Bullshit. Okay. Okay, fine. And set this to execute 100 milliseconds in the future, where it will immediately invoke main.kill is not a function. Okay, that's because I meant game.kill. Why didn't you draw game over? Okay, fine. Stack dot stacks 0, 0 equals 1, and stacks dot stacks 0, 1 equals 0. This will put the stack in an illegal state, which will force the game to game over immediately. There we go. Funny how that worked, huh? Okay, so now we are going to test game over. We have to how high can I move it? I can move it a little bit. So instead of minus 50, we'll do minus 70, minus 80. And so that was minus 30 we did, so 30x. I can move it closer. Okay, I just need to shrink that text. So instead of bold 80px monospace, it'll be bold . Do an iterative design here. So set it down like to 100 pixels, let's see, 100 pixels below the center. Okay, so now it's as it was before, except the actually fit the press R to restart text. I can move it up just a little bit. Respect those margins a little bit. That looks better. So yeah, now it says game over, press R to restart. I will actually move the game over together closer though. So we'll move that to minus 30 plus 30. Okay, that looks better. So you press R. Game over. Tail item is undefined, but the game continues to run. Okay. So main digest, we just remove that. So to recap on what this code does, I just initialize main and then immediately add it to the stacks that we have two rings where one larger ring is over a smaller ring. I'm pretty sure I can actually kill the game and yeah, so that's what it looks like. And if you take away the 0 ring that's on top, see that there's a red ring underneath it. So now we have that working. We also had the beginning of the drag stuff. So we also need to return because we don't want to do that. That down stack though, that's what did I call it? Held ring stack. So mouse dot held ring stack equals stack ID and mouse dot held ring. Because yeah, only if we've determined that the mouse is hovering over one of these stacks that we've left-clicked and it was on one of the 6 outer stacks, will we grab the ring off of it. So, and then for the mouse leaf, what we need to do is set mouse.lb to 0 to stack.push mouse dot held ring stack, and we're pushing mouse dot held ring, and then game dot pause. But only if, right, of course, if mouse dot held ring is not equal to -1. So let's go ahead and refresh that, see if that works. So we're going clicking on this, and we have grabbed that, but then we drag out. Uh-oh. That's not right. I can't lose. This has become whack-a-mole. This is not what I wanted. Okay, where is that happening? Stack.js line 57. Getting sick of that. So I'm spamming click and space. And there are no errors. And also, like how it clearly indicates by pointing the line at where it's going, they actually turn out to be really a really useful visual cue, because you know how in the original game there's an arrow that points, like it rotates to where the ring's going to go and it points at it. But this also works. I'm just going to let it. Game over, press R to start. Oh, cool. So I've corrected the, and we can go ahead and remove this part because it can't not be undefined at this point, or it can't be undefined because if it's undefined then it would have returned false. So if stack target.length is 0 or stack.pop is less than ring, then we send the interrupt. So it's short circuit evaluation what's happening here. So if the length is not 0, then it will execute. Or if the length, yeah, if the length is not 0, then it will execute this latter part. Otherwise, it won't bother because at least one of the things was true, which is the thing on the left. So it just goes forward. So it's guaranteed here that stack target.length is not 0. So we're allowed to pop something and not have to check if it is undefined. Okay, so returning to input.js. Not really sure what to do about that. I thought, see, I left the canvas. Oh, you know what? I didn't register the event, did I? Keep doing that. Add event, mouse, leave. Like, look at me just assuming that things will magically happen. Okay, so the game is paused, and when I unpause, hello, hello, game over. That's really janky. So game dot. What we need to do is dispatch one. Dispatch event. So we need to dispatch 2 events. We need to dispatch blur and mouse up. Probably be a better way to do it. So it'd be canvas. let's try this. On mouse leave, what we need to do is input.force event new mouse I don't know, this shit always confuses me. Mouse up and input.force event new what kind of event even is dude, new event maybe. Mouse up. Okay, let's go with that, see if that works. Blur. Didn't mean to delete that line. Okay, so refresh the page to sanity check. Dragged it out, and we did not have code to call game.pause. Yeah, there's no such call in here. So this is happening from the blur event being triggered. And my problem here is that I'm clicking in the fucking canvas and there's no focus event being triggered. Kind of removes the motivation to do any of that. So instead we'll just put the ring back without pausing the game. Here we go. So you see the ring gets put back. The game does not pause. Although for some reason I got a game over. Okay, well, we have the basic stuff here. So let's just, because it's kind of distracting, we need some code in the game loop to visually indicate that the thing is being dragged. Because just having it disappear off the stack and vanish into thin air, kind of distracting. Makes it hard to visualize what's going on. So, I'm going to check chat real fast. So after drawing the stacks, we're going to do draw mouse ring static draw mouse ring. If mouse dot held ring, yeah, is not equal to -1, then draw ring using mouse.x, mouse.y, and type, which is mouse.held ring. There we go. So now we're holding the ring, and I've okay. That's not supposed to happen. If mouse is -1 or type, well, there's hyper hierarchy, type of mouse.held ring isn't equal to undefined, and mouse.held, because we are just popping it from the stack, so it's possible to get an undefined value. Let's go to trash. What are you doing? I had it backwards, that's why. So now it's drawing. This is not right though. Hold on. So I'm holding this not valid ring. Okay, so would you agree then that type of mouse.held ring equals undefined? Would you agree? Yes. Oh, but oh my fucking god. Okay, let's just triple check this fucking if statement to make sure it's right. I need to cancel this mouse ring drawing if the held ring is undefined or it is -1. Okay. So now we need to handle some other things. I need to figure out what to do when I... We figure that out with mouse lead. So mouse, if mouse.held ring isn't equal to -1, okay, so we'll just cancel it if that's the case. If we do have a held ring, then we need to push it back onto the stack, and then we need to set mouse.held ring equals -1, and mouse.held ring stack equals -1. So I'm going to put that in. There we go, it's gone. So it's just sending it back now. No jankiness until I click onto the thing. That's all the mouse down needs to do, is pick up the ring. So now mouse up needs to do we're going to put that all in a function called put held ring back. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. Static put held ring back. So what mouse leave does is it undoes the left click and it puts the ring back. Okay, and then if you are not hovering over a valid ring or stack, I mean, when you let go of the mouse, it gets put back. So now, okay, I also need to handle the case for the middle stack. Or stack ID so you can try to drag it outside of the window, it gets put back. If you let go, so now I can let it go over here, I can let it go in an invalid area. I can try to drag it out the window, it'll always get put back. If I let go over the stack or over another stack, then that suddenly breaks, but that's just because I haven't implemented that yet. So now the final case. Basically what we need to do is take the stack that we're hovering over, stack copy equals stack.get stack for stack ID, and if stack cp dot pop dot length is greater than 0, or equals 0, I mean. If stack length is 0 or the top value is less than the held ring, then stack.push stack ID mouse.held ring and mouse.held ring equals -1 and mouse.held ring stack equals -1. What else was there? I feel like there was something else. And that was just to put it back. Okay, so that should be the drag and drop. Can you? Okay, I really need to make it autofocus. There we go, I can move it between rings now. You can see it snaps. That's not right. I said if stack. Oh. I got fucked by short circuit evaluation. There we go. Now when I try to drop this on there, it doesn't work. Let's say if the length is greater than 0 and the top value is greater than or equal to the held ring, because that's the only case where it's not valid, then will you please mouse.put held ring back and return. be like the final piece of the puzzle. So now if I try to put this down on the red, it'll just pop back. So it's not a valid place. We're almost done. When there's a yellow ring on top of a blue ring, you can see I could press space while holding the ring. So I can do that too, and that's neat. Oh no, I'm dead. So there's just one final thing. So just before anything is drawn, we'll go ahead and check the ring sets. Static check ring sets. And what this will do is let results. Well, hold on. For let I equals 0, I is less than stack.nstacks minus 1, plus I. And if okay, so if the top value is not 3, okay, we do need to filter, but we also do need to have side effects. So that's why I'm doing a for loop, like a regular for loop. So if then continue if cell stack cp.pop isn't equal to 2, continue. So once the top and the one right under it have been confirmed to be 3 and then 2, then we have our so what are our score tables again? It was 50 for a basic set, 100 for a 3 set, and then 250 for a 4 set. Let total equals 0. If cells stack CP Okay, we've proved at least those two. Then what we'll do here is we'll take stack.pop I, and we'll pop it twice. And then we'll cop from the poppy. We'll pop from the copy again. If it's not 1, then we'll continue. Total plus equals 50. Stack.pop I. If cell stack cp.pop is equal to 0, we also need to have autofocus. Oops. That was close. Okay, so one thing I noticed about this game is that it is extremely difficult. So maybe the rules for when a ring can be placed down are a lot more lenient in the base game. Shit. I don't think I've even made a score yet. Let's put this on top. And, okay, so they deleted each other, but I didn't get any score. And, of course, that's because I didn't... Okay, so main.js, just real quick, because I keep on coming across this and forgetting. Can I just do focus like that? So they deleted each other. Now I just need to have in the game loop when that's called to do game.score plus equals. Here we go, 50. And there's 300. And 400. So I got 100 for that. Holy shit, this is hard. Okay, no. It shouldn't have done that. There was no legal move. Because everything had a value. Hold on. If filter so we need the length of this the given stack to either be 0 or for the ring at the top to be less than the ring that we're checking. And if none of these are true, because maybe the top ring is greater than, or maybe because the top ring is equal to So like right here, this was it violating this rule. There were 6 blue rings down, and it placed the blue ring. Maybe I should also factor in what's being held. Return res.length is greater than 0 and mouse.held_ring is not equal to ring. So don't generate the same ring that the player is holding. That should make it a little bit easier. Hello? What are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Why did you... Okay, there were plenty... Dude, no, there were plenty of fucking values you could have used. No, the game froze again. That is so odd. So that's the last remaining bug. The game has a nasty habit of freezing now. Because I have the random number generator is just generating the same number over and over again. Come on. You're just not allowed to generate anything that can't go on at least one stack and isn't being held by the player. If the ring is already being held by the player, okay, well, we have to allow the gold at least. Res.length. So first off, if ring equals 3, return true. So it always has at least one out. What's going on? Time. Okay, I think I may have fixed the bug. So it must have been that it was trying to generate a gold ring, or that a gold ring was the only viable candidate, but it wasn't allowed to because of the rules. The hell was that? You weren't letting me. Okay, so the initial animation. Actually, how is that even being determined? I'm looking at the wait time now for the timer. So ring and it calls the timeout with 4,000. I'm actually going to do is a static and animation.timeout equals 10,000. Okay, and then in step ring, or maybe in the callback for ring timer, stop it. If animation.timeout that's too generic. Timer ring timer timeout. So if it's greater than, maybe have it cap at 2000, then animation.ring timer timeout. Hello, rimt minus equals 1. Animatino is not defined on line 48. Oh my god. Big respect to Ninjakiwi Games, by the way, for making this game all the way back when Flash was in its heyday. Because Flash was mostly dominated by amateur programmers who didn't really know what they were doing and kind of got their start. So you'd see a lot of janky Flash games on Newgrounds because people were learning the technology and the profession, really. Okay. And to make something as relatively complex as this. Like, I mean, I did make this in a few days, but still, it's impressive. Like, I have tons and tons of experience with programming, so I never doubted my ability in this arena. Oh, I'm fucked. Let's make this a little more lenient. We'll change the rules for a legal move to be that the length is greater than 1. There has to be at least 2 spaces where it can go down. And that should, I think, I don't know what is going on here. So there's no held ring. Space false, R false, P false. Getting greedy. Seems like the progression of the game is a little too slow. And that's why we iterate on these things. And that bug is irritating. When I press space, there is no question about it. You need to fucking put the ring down, damn it. Stack.send ring. Do it now. It's returning true. So that proves that the cell anim is not undefined. And we were able to get the stack target, which is the selected stack in the animation, and then cells or stack target length. So we send the interrupt. Well, that worked. So why the fuck didn't you do it? The length of the stack is either 0 or the value at the top of the stack is less than the ring value. And it's returning true, which means it's doing that. It's just not doing what's in here. the length, the top. Stack top equals undefined. Length equals 0. Ring equals 3. But the ring is not 3. What are you talking about? Take a look at this animation. So callback ring timer. So we're in the timer animation. Cell ring is 3 and cell stack is 2. So it's that stack and the ring is 3. Okay, so that's correct. But the stack top is undefined? Right. Of course it's undefined. The length is 0. So why aren't you putting it down? The interrupt is 1. And no, it shouldn't be undefined. No, it is, because it's empty. And we only need for the stack target length to be 0 or for the top ring to be less than the ring. So this doesn't add up at all. It says stack length equals 0, but that's exactly the thing that's happening in the opposite. This doesn't make any sense. Anyways, let's go into the animation, and the amount that we're subtracting is in one of the callbacks. Should be in the callback ring timer. Yeah. Okay, of course there, because like that's perfectly reasonable. This does seem to be a lot easier now. Like more in line with the actual difficulty of the game. This game has a yellow ring fetish. Nope, this shouldn't have happened. There were 6 fucking rings. Oh no, right. Yellow rings are always valid. So you can get fucked over by yellow rings. That's unfortunate. And that might explain that other bug that happened. We don't want to make exceptions for ring number 3. Instead, well, no, wait, if ring 3 isn't valid in any scenario, I guess it's kind of your own fault, huh? If ring 3 isn't valid in any scenario, then any ring below it's not going to be valid either. So I'm going to just note that. Okay, now let's go looking for to-dos. Figure out what memory leak is using the browser. I don't think that was... Yeah, that only became an issue with the ring being denied. Implement mouse controls. Done. Implement scoring. Yes. Doesn't need to happen on the tail, because I can just check it and remove it. And see input.js for more to-dos. Just stack.js. Alright, and with that, the game is done. There's just that one small bug, which the only thing it does is it causes you to have to wait for the full timeout. So don't get too greedy with the yellow rings, you will get screwed over. Okay, it's kind of not my fault when the only thing you're fucking generating is yellow rings, you bastard. No. And why did it generate a yellow ring? It could have generated a blue ring. Maybe we'll change the way it generates rings. So, because that seems to happen quite a lot. So first result equals math or unemployer. First of all, if stack.isLegal res, then res equals 0, and then we'll return the first legal one. So that's the new algorithm. It'll first try to generate a random one. Dude. Game is not defined on line 133. Missing stack is not defined on line 38. Yeah, so the new algorithm here. Whoa, can you let me? So the new algorithm here is that it first tries to generate a random one. Just doing a pretty good job at that. And if it fails the first check, then it will grab the first valid ring. So that'll prevent that fucking yellow ring shit from happening again. hopefully at least. No, yeah, because it's not possible for a good RNG to generate the same number over and over again. Yeah, I think I fixed it. It's actually generating fair input now. This is my reward for all my hard work. Seemed like I couldn't drag that for a second. Okay, so what happened there was I accidentally dragged off into the invalid area. That was unfortunate. Anyways, I might polish this game in my free time and accept commits to the repo for people to polish it themselves. But as of now, the game is basically done. Free rings is what I'll call it. So that's the stream. That's the series. It really is the finale. Bye-bye.